I think some of you might resonate with me on this, whether you want kids, don't want them, or you are still confused about it. So I grew up in Portugal, and my stepdad had a really big and typical Portuguese family. For those who don't know, a long time ago in Portugal, it was really normal for a woman to have at least 6 kids. And it was definitely not normal for a woman to have none. So I grew up in a very Catholic country and in a big family. Now, nowadays, the things are changing, of course, but it's still not considered normal for a woman to not have any kids at all in Portugal. The people still question you a lot and try to tell you that maybe you will regret it and that you should do it. And, the typical stuff that we have all heard before. When we grow up in this kind of environment like I did, we are so programmed to do things in a certain way. And without even realizing it, we are practically being forced to want certain things in our adult life. Our parents, teachers, the church, the government, everyone tells us when we are young that we need to study, we need to find a job to support us, we need to settle down, get married, and have kids. This is what success looks like for the society. And this is so deeply ingrained in us that we don't even stop to question if we actually want all that or not, and why. So we don't question if we want kids or not. If you think about it, the people that seriously question that if they want kids or not are the ones that are certain that they don't want it. Everyone else just has them, even if they are not sure about it. It's almost taboo to ask a person why they want kids. A lot of this programming comes from religion and school. These institutions taught us to not question much. I learned this in religion class, and to follow the rules and to be obedient. I learned this in school. Of course, there are other lessons and some of them good, but in terms of choosing for ourselves, they didn't encourage us to do that, to just trust our intuition how to do that, and to choose the right path for you as well as the consequences that come with it. They told us how things are, how it works, how to behave, and to fit in, you have to have all these things and also be and do these things. So for me, I started to think more about this subject after I got into my first long-term relationship when I was still a teenager. Now, before I began my healing journey, that was around my 28, I was a people pleaser. So until then, whenever people talk to me about being a mother or having kids, I will always agree with them and be like, yes, of course, it's exactly like that I want, and so on. But when I entered my 20s, I started being confronted with this topic more often, even by my, at that time, boyfriend. But every time that I thought about it, I felt this sense of, it's like panic or anxiety, because I would think like, oh my God, I have so many dreams, so much that I still want to do. I want to travel the world, focus on my career, I want to explore life more. So for me, to avoid this topic, I started to tell people that, yes, I do want kids, but only, between 25 and 30. And this made me feel like a safe answer that I could give that bought me time. But then time passed. A lot changed. I moved countries, I traveled, studied, I made some dreams come true. But when I was 25, then the questions came floating again. When are you going to have kids? How many do you want? And even my partner at that time started to put some pressure on me. So my solution? I pushed that timeline again by saying that I wanted to have kids, but only above 30, because I still have to finish my studies. I still want to travel more and focus also on myself and so on. It was always an excuse to avoid seriously thinking about it. I just didn't want to think about it. But the weirdest thing about all of this is that while I was giving all these excuses, deep down, I still believed that I had to become a mother before I turned 30. And this was such a strong belief inside me. And because of it, I was feeling like the time was running out. So I started to feel anxious about this because on one hand, I wanted to do so many things first. But on the other hand, I thought, you know what? Maybe I should just settle down and just have the kids before it's too late. It was only after I started my healing journey when I was around 28 that I really took the time to think seriously about this. And it took me some months to figure this out. It was not that fast and simple. And here is the first thing that I did. Something you can try to if you are unsure about what you want. So I did parts work. This is a practice where you explore the different parts of yourself that have conflict desires. For example, I want to go to gym, but I don't feel like it. You can learn to do this on your own, or if you need guidance, I can help you with it in a session. So here's how I started. I made a list of why a part of me wanted to have kids. I started with this part. And for this, it is important to focus only on the part of you that wants kids. So the part of you that you want to work first. Don't mix the opposite part, the opposite thoughts just yet. So to start, the best thing you can do is to take some deep breaths in and out. And then I say to myself, now I only want to express the part of me that wants to have kids. And you let yourself that energy of wanting kids consume you. And here is so important that you are completely honest with yourself. Look, this is just for you, so there is no need to hide or lie to yourself. And if you are not truthful, you will only end up making the wrong choices. So be careful with this. This is why doing this session with someone like me can help you be truthful, because I am able to push you and see if you are lying to yourself or not. At the time that I did this, these were some of the reasons for me wanting kids. I don't want to end up alone. I want to feel unconditional love. It will make me feel like a real woman. I am curious to see what a mini version of me would become. I would feel loved and respected by my child, my partner, and even others. If I don't succeed in life, at least I can help my child succeed, and that will feel like an accomplishment. Now, once you feel like you have expressed everything and nothing else comes out, so you give yourself time, because sometimes you stop and then it comes more out. But when you feel like you have expressed everything and you were really honest, then you can get up, shake yourselves to take this energy out, then take a few deep breaths in and out again to reset. And now you switch your focus to the opposite part. So the part of me that don't want to have kids. So I said to myself, now I only want to express the part of me that does not want to have kids. And I let that energy consume me. And here were some of the reasons that came to me at that time. I don't have the financial means for it right now. I don't want to struggle so much to provide for them. I'm afraid of raising them alone. I don't want to give up on traveling, discovering new things. I want to focus on my career even more. I feel like I will not have a lot of time for myself. I desire a career that allows me to travel around the world, and I wouldn't have much time to spend with my kids. I don't want my kids to experience having an absent mother like I did. I feel like I would have to give up a big part of who I truly am to be there for my kids, because I would prefer to sacrifice myself rather than risk being an absent mother. Do you know what was the hardest part of this exercise for me? It wasn't just seeing the truth on both sides, This can also be scary when you let yourself to fully consume that energy and let everything out. You might discover things that you were never able to say it out loud or you're too afraid to look at it. But for me, it was realizing how selfish I was. Now let me explain. First of all, everyone in this world is selfish, period. But there is a difference between a healthy selfishness and a toxic selfishness. A healthy selfishness is when you prioritize yourself and you focus on yourself without the need to harm, manipulate, or abuse others. You don't need that. A toxic selfishness is when you completely disregard others' feelings. You cause them harm, manipulate, because you believe that that's the only way to get what you want. When I looked at my reasons for wanting and not wanting kids, I realized that I wanted them, but for all the wrong reasons. I wanted them to cover up my pain and fears. The only reason that wasn't that toxic was my curiosity to see what a mini version of me would become. But here's the thing that we often forget. A baby is not us. A baby is a completely separate entity who is born already with some of their own personalities. The rest will be developed with time. And they come here to learn their own lessons and experience their own unique journey. That is not the same as ours. A child isn't here to be our puppet, to do what we want them to do. The purpose of a child of this new generation is to expand our perspective, is to challenge us and make us question things that we never considered before. That's how we grow and evolve as a society. Look, I know that me not wanting kids also comes from some really selfish reasons. But at least I am not bringing a person in this world just to force them to become whatever I want them or need them to be, or to cover up my fears. Now, even after I did this exercise with myself, I still thought about it for a couple of weeks before I came to a conclusion. You don't need to figure out everything right now. Maybe your conclusion for now is just, I don't feel like having kids right now, but in 5 years, I'm gonna think about it seriously again. And that is enough. You can revisit this question as much as you want. Or maybe the only thing that you realize that is blocking you is your financial situation, which makes total sense given how society is structured. But if you still feel like you really want kids and that is one of the main blockages, then what you should work on is that lack mentality, is the belief that you hold that you cannot attract that abundance financially to sustain you and your family. But this is a decision that only you can make for yourself, because you are the one that's gonna live with it. For me, the moment when I was more sure that I didn't want to have kids, it came when I had the idea of asking some woman, why do they want kids? But I didn't ask just anyone. I specifically asked that kind of woman who it just seemed like they were born to be mothers. I think you know what I mean when you look at a person and you're like, wow, you were so meant to be a mother. And I asked them, what made you so sure that you want to have kids? Now, they gave me a lot of reasons, but there was one that really moved me. One woman said, you know why? Every time I hold someone else's baby or I'm surrounded by kids and I'm playing with them, I just feel like these kids are mine. I have this deep maternal instinct that just kicks in and it feels so amazing. I cannot explain it. I love knowing that I get to take care of someone who just came through me. It's the best feeling in the world. And that was when it hit me. I don't have that. I love kids. I am good with them. But when I am around kids, I don't feel like a mother. I feel more like a friend. I just want to play with them. And because of my obsession in psychology, I like to study their personalities, understand how they see the world and how they are feeling right now. So when I am with kids, I also feel like a kid. And we do silly things together and we have fun. But it's not the same as wanting to be a mother. So after this realization, I was able to say out loud that, you know what? I don't feel like being a mother. But let me tell you, at first, it was so awkward. It was such a terrible feeling that I had. I was ashamed because I believed that no man would ever want me. I thought that I would be alone and that others would never respect me for it. But the more I traveled, the more amazing people I was able to know, and the more I realized there are so many couples that live incredible, fulfilling lives together without any kid. And for me, seeing that evidence, it made all my fears and doubts and that heavy weight just disappear. But this shift didn't happen overnight because you have so many layers, so many deep beliefs that are tied up to this topic that it actually takes some time for you to get rid of them, for you to let go of it. But now I can say what I truly feel without the shame and the pain. Look, I'm not saying that I will never have a kid because honestly, we can never say never. Accidents happen. But what I'm certainly saying is that I am not going to live in pain or regret for not having kids. And that is all I need to continue with my journey. I hope this helped you in some way, and as usual, I wish you a very nice week.